Europe has been slack in fighting the illegal immigrants flooding over from Africa, in particular also the Middle East. And there's lots of reasons to think that this crisis will, in our lifetime, get a lot worse. I mean, you look at the population growth, historic and predicted, of Europe, in purple, showing Africa 125 years ago had 1/3 the population of Europe, but by the end of this century will have 6 times more, if projections hold. That's a lot more Africans wanting to move somewhere richer. Now, in Britain, stopping illegal immigrants is already a massive political issue. And in fact, so much so that Nigel Farage, head of the Anti-Immigration Reform Party, is way ahead of every party in the polls and is now promising a radical immigration policy, deporting 600 illegals in just 5 years, even if the details keep changing this week.
The only way we will stop the boats is by detaining and deporting absolutely anyone that comes via that route.
You've said that you're going to detain anyone who arrives via small boats. Will that apply to women and girls? And what about unaccompanied children?
Yes, women and children, everybody on arrival will be detained. And I've accepted already that how we deal with children is a much more complicated and difficult issue.
And then later he said, well, maybe women wouldn't be detained either. So I don't know quite what's going on, but still, it's an issue. Joining from London, it's Patrick Christie, star presenter of GB News. Patrick, we find you this time in your car. What's that about?
Yeah, look, sorry about this, guys. My wife was taken into the maternity hospital that's literally just to my right there now. So, that happened about an hour or so ago. So I'm just coming to you from my car outside. So apologies for the background. I do have a baby seat ready to go in the back of my car, though, that I think you might be able to see just as and when it happens. So I'm all prepared.
Oh, what's the problem, mate?
It's not a problem. It's just that my wife's about to give birth. So.
Oh my gosh, I must have misheard. Seriously? Oh, congratulations. What the hell are you doing talking to us? Mate,
look, I like you. I love Sky
you.
Australia. We've got important stuff to talk about. It takes my mind off it.
Wow. Okay, well, look, if you suddenly scurry off, I know exactly what's going on. Don't bother to say sorry, just choof. Patrick, about to be a father. This policy of Nigel Farage, so radical that, you know, he's even talking about making a deal with the Taliban to send Afghans back home. And the Taliban is saying, fine. Do you think he means it?
Yes, he definitely means it. There's different aspects to this policy, deporting 600,000 people in the first term, also building detention centres here in Britain to house 24,000 people at a time. We were able to do it with the Nightingale hospitals during COVID. I was listening to your last discussion there. We were able to do extraordinary things during the coronavirus crisis that are apparently now logistically impossible in, as it were, peacetime. So he's going to do that. The deportations deal potentially with Afghanistan, countries like Eritrea. The point of this is, some of this might sound unpalatable or extreme to people now, but the overall point is you should only really have to start doing this stuff once, because once you start doing it, the message gets sent out, it's the ultimate deterrent, and the illegal migration crisis stops. And you're absolutely right to raise that graph earlier. That graph should be a very, very big concern to everybody in the West, because those hundreds of millions of people in places like Africa and in the subcontinent, as long as, technically speaking, those countries are worse, either economically or in terms of safety, than Britain, than Europe, dare I even say Australia, then all of those people will technically, legally be able to come to our countries in future. And realistically, that cannot be allowed to happen.
Yeah, I've seen projections, and you know what a population projection is worth. I mean, the fall in China's population occurred faster than people thought. That Nigeria, by the end of the century, could be the world's biggest country, not China, not India. So, you know, it is going. That's right. Africa, well, Nigeria isn't, but Africa right now, you know, across a short boat trip to Europe, it is going to be big. Meghan Markle, meanwhile, she's got a new lifestyle series on Netflix, Patrick, which features her cooking with supposed friends. And I got to say, cooking very slowly. You check out the onions here.
I've realized I need a bigger knife. to cut properly.
That's what it was, the knife's fault.
It was definitely the knife's fault because it was too small for my big manly hand. How thin, how thick?
Thinly sliced, and we're just going to do 2 of them. Our guests today are culinary masters. David Chang.
Icon.
Now, Patrick, I have to admit that criticising Meghan Markle is a very popular sport, particularly in Britain, and I don't think anything she would have done would have got a standing ovation, but she really has been smashed and trashed for this one. Is it as bad as described?
It's pretty bad. I mean, she has been described as the Montecito Marie Antoinette. A lot of people just asking, what is the point of any of this? You know, why doesn't someone just follow me around with a camera whilst I make a pot noodle in my kitchen and butter some bread or put a Rustler's burger in the microwave, really? It's been described as incredibly tone deaf, so tone deaf that if it was a singer, it would sound a little bit like 2 foxes engaging in a mating ritual. It's not in the UK top 10, so the public are voting with their feet here and simply not watching it. There's been leaked information from production teams on the show that say they do not think it will be commissioned again. However, there is some news that apparently there is a series about Princess Diana in the works that could be made by this Meghan's and Harry's As Ever brand. Big concerns about that, because presumably that would completely disregard Prince William, because he wouldn't take part in it. It would only go to further the royal rift that we've been seeing.
Can you just check around you just in case a nurse is waving at you? I'm getting a bit nervous for you.
I think it's okay. Don't worry. I think it's okay. I mean, I'm probably not going to win any brownie points from the wife for this, but I think it's important for me to just take my mind off things a little bit.